Hey, what is going on, guys? It's DK back at you with another video here, breaking on a 10-game NBA main slate on Monday. A couple things before I get in the video. If you're new to the channel, my name's DK. I make daily videos talking about NBA DFS as well as NFL DFS. I'm also here to announce the winner to the weekly $20 PayPal giveaway. The winner is Eric Court, K-O-R-T. So either hit me up, congrats on winning the giveaway, either hit me up in the YouTube comment section or on Twitter. I can make sure to get you that $20 PayPal. Also, I just want to say thank you guys for all the support recently. Just again on Twitter, YouTube, the live streams. I try to reply to everyone. So I just want to say thank you to everyone for all the support. But with that out of the way, let's jump in the video. So first, let's look back at my lineup here from Sunday, and yep, it was GBP takedown season, boys. So this is my final lineup here in the $40 single entry. Took down $1,000 to first. So I went with Bledsoe, Harden, House, Boucher, Brook Lopez, Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, and Serge Ibaka. So the core plays I gave you guys on the live stream were Brook Lopez. He 9 blocks. So definitely got a little bit lucky there. I don't see Brook Lopez probably ever getting 9 blocks again in his career, but I'll take it, right? He was just too cheap at 3.9K for starting center against Ayton. 42 fantasy points, absolutely crushed it at not that high ownership. Also, Daniel Housen was in there, 51% owned, but he was, I believe, 4.1K. I was a little bit tilted in the first half. He only had 9 minutes, but in the second half, they extended him more, and he got there 33 fantasy points, more than enough at that price. And then Harden was another guy in my core, only 51% owned, 73 fantasy points. Looks like he's finally turned the corner after that slow, 2 weeks or so that he went on, 2-week stretch that he went on. And then I put Serge Ibaka in there, but I also brought up Chris Boucher. I said, if you think the game blows out, maybe you go Boucher here. I ended up playing both because Ibaka was just 200 price at 6.2K. Sure, the game blew out, but he had 30 fantasy points in 3 quarters, where Boucher at almost min price at 26. Bledsoe revenge spot. I wasn't super excited about this play, but he was the only guy that really fit this lineup construction. He was my last guy in. Again, I really wanted to get Harden, House, Lopez, and Ibaka in there. And then Lonzo and Ingram. Again, that was a 250 over-under. Didn't finish that high, only 117 to 109, but I wanted a lot of pieces of that game. Lonzo was 7% owned, 47 fantasy points. Ingram, 42% owned, almost 50 fantasy points. Turned $40 into $1,000. I was also in the $44 tournament. I think turned that into $400. It was a really, really good night. Overall, profited about, I think $1,400, something like that. So really can't be mad about that. And let's see if we can keep it going here for this 10-game main slate on Monday. Okay, let's go to this one. Let's take a look at some over-unders and spreads really quick for the games that are out. We have 7 of the 10 games out right now. We have the Mavs and the Pacers. I guess the total isn't out, but it's a 4-point spread for the Pacers. Warriors and Wizards, 235 over-under. The Wizards are 5-point favorites. That game looks pretty appealing, but there are some guys questionable. We have the Knicks and the Cavs in a 217. The Cavs are 1.5-point favorites. We have the Magic and the Hornets, pretty low one here, 205 over-under, with the Magic favor 4.5. We have the 76ers and the Heat sitting at 213 with the Heat favored by 3. Timberwolves Kings 228 with the Kings favored 1.5, and the late night hammer right now is Spurs Clippers 227.5 with Clippers are 10-point favorites. So as always, we'll start with center today, and Karl-Anthony Towns at 10.6 is I think very much in play as a spend up. Since his return, they limited him his first game or two back, but now he's had 35, 40, 36 minutes. So he's back to Karl-Anthony Towns at the beginning of the season playing about 35 or so minutes. This is a good spot, right? I'm not really worried about Dwayne Dedmon or Harry Giles defense. We have Holmes doubtful. Don't expect him to go. So I'm perfectly fine getting to Towns as a spend up. I think he's priced about right, though, so I don't think he stands out as an amazing play, but he's definitely one of those guys that I am considering as far as spend up guys. Sabonis at 9.6. You guys know I'm a huge Sabonis guy, but I don't think I can pay 9.6K for him with Miles Turner back. We have Oladipo now healthy. We have Brogdon healthy, so it's just too expensive in my opinion. Drummond does intrigue me here at 9.4. Only got 30 minutes, but he did foul out in the last game against Denver. Memphis, they run big. They have JV, they have Triple J, they have Brandon Clark. So This is a definitely doable price tag for Drummond, and you're saving a little bit of money off of Towns if you want to save about what $1,400 or $1,200. Joel Embiid is at a pretty appealing price tag as well. The issue is this game is not super appealing for DFS purposes. We have a 213 over under, so right now the second lowest of the day. But yeah, Embiid can definitely still get you there. Especially, again, 9.2K is a pretty cheap price tag, so I think he's okay. But I don't know if I'm going to go out of my way to play him on this slate. Vucevic, kind of the same thing. It's a good spot, but 8.8K is like, I think there's probably better options. Now, Randall, this is pretty big news. He is currently listed as questionable. If he can't go, Bobby Portis would turn into one of the better value plays of the day. So definitely something to keep an eye on with the status of Randall. If Randall plays, I think he's doable at this price, but wouldn't stand out as like an amazing play. Bam Adebayo, again, 8.4K seems priced about right. Bad matchup here against Philly. This game in general is not super appealing for me. Two pretty solid defensive teams. John Collins, so this is pretty dependent on Trae Young news. Right now, we currently have Trae Young questionable. So if Trae Young can't go, that's when I would consider Collins here. It's a bad spot, but his upside goes through the roof when Trae Young is not out there. So certainly something to keep an eye on with the stats of Trae Young. I also like Deandre Ayton a lot here at 7.7. The last game against Milwaukee, did not shoot the ball too well. 10 of 27. Still put up 45 fantasy points. Imagine if he had a better shooting night. He could have crushed that salary. We know Brooklyn, they're a traditional team, right? They always have a traditional center out there, whether it be Jarrett Allen, whether it be DeAndre Jordan. So I do have a good amount of interest in DeAndre Ayton here at 7.7K. We also have JV at 7.1. So he's been getting a lot of minutes recently. 34, 31, 27 minutes. We know Detroit, right? They have Andre Drummond out there a lot. So I think their best option defensively is Jonas Valanciunas. And if we're going to get about 30 minutes from JV, he can definitely still get you at this price. So he is certainly someone I am considering here, kind of more in the mid-tier. Porzingis, I love at 7K. I know it's not really the best spot, but with no Luka, his upside is just through the roof. We saw the last game against Houston. 36 minutes, 56 fantasy points. I'm not worried about his minutes. Just off what we saw last game, he's going to be the do-it-all guy here for Dallas with no Luka. So I love him. One of my favorite plays here at 7K. I think he's about $1,000 too cheap, maybe more. Right now, again, his upside is just through the roof with Luka not out there. LMA at 6.9. Sure, there's definitely a chance this game could blow out. I'm not super excited about that. Kind of same with Harrell, with Paul George and Kawhi healthy. Just I'll probably pass. Jarrett Allen, DeAndre Jordan, you can always go to Allen here, but the issue is he's never going to play huge minutes when DeAndre Jordan is healthy. I'm okay taking a shot for GPPs, but 6.7 just feels like a little bit too pricey. Let's see. Other options, Holmes is doubtful, so looks like it's going to be Dedmon and Giles kind of manning the middle there for Sacramento. We have Thomas Bryant at 5.8, but I don't think I can go there because we have Mo Wagner and Rui coming back, so that kind of takes Thomas Bryant out of play for me. Let's see. Tice at 5.6. Sure, it's a good spot. I would consider him if Cantor's out, but probably still wouldn't go there. Nance and Thompson are kind of splitting the center minutes. Not really super excited about either there. Kleber can't go there with Porzingis back. I was really high on Kleber and Willie Cauley-Stein on Saturday. They both crushed it. They were in my cash game core that I tweeted out, but can't go there 5K with Porzingis back. Let's see. Other options. PJ Washington, I believe he's doubtful. Yeah. So, Miles Bridges will probably play a little more minutes. Marvin Williams maybe, but still don't think we have to go there on the Charlotte side. We have Dedmon. He missed that last game due to an illness. That was on Saturday, though, so I assume he's going to be good to go. He probably is their best option defensively to guard Cat, but that last game, the 27th, so less than a week ago, he only got 16 minutes. They ran a lot of Bielitsa at the 5, which is really surprising against Cat, so yeah, his minutes kind of up in the air. He's a riskier option just because we really don't have a good idea how many minutes he's going to play. Cantor is questionable. If he is able to go, I would have some interest as a GPP option. Again, really good spot there against Atlanta. Get WCS, can't go there with Porzingis back. Let's see. Yeah, Bobby Portis would become one of my favorite value plays if Randall can't go. I'd assume he starts at power forward. If that would be the case, again, he would be one of my favorite, if not my favorite value plays there at 3.7K. We have Giles at 3.5. If Dedmon's not able to go, we can certainly look to Giles. He did only get 17 minutes, put up 27 fantasy points in that time. So you can take a shot at him as a cheap option if Dedmon's not available. And then they used, where is he? Eric Micah as the backup center. He got 19 minutes, 14 fantasy points. I mean, again, him and Giles would probably man the middle if Dedmon can't go. But, those are pretty risky options in my opinion. Let's move on to power forward. So, let's see. We're going to talk about a lot of these guys at the top. We already have Kemba Walker ruled out for Boston, which is huge news. And we have Marcus Smart questionable. If Marcus Smart can't go, then Hayward, Tatum, Brown really stand out here and one of the best possible spots against Atlanta. So, I know the prices are up, but their upside is through the roof. Again, especially in this matchup, Hayward, Tatum, Brown. You really can't go wrong with any of those guys, especially if Marcus Smart can't go. Kelly Oubre at 7.1. So his price did go up after last game. He was 6.4K. But still, Phoenix is pretty short-handed. He shot the ball 5 of 20 the last game. Still put up 34 fantasy points and had a double-double. So, yeah, again, Phoenix pretty short-handed. With Rubio out, they started Elliot Kobo. But, Oubre, Booker, Ayton, probably may have to play big minutes here. Pretty good matchup, too. So I'm definitely okay getting to Oubre there at that price. Also, don't mind Kevin Love at 7.1. Has seen 33 and 29 minutes in back-to-back games, which is good to see. I don't know if he has enormous upside, but New York, I'm not really scared of them defensively. So, yeah, I'm okay getting to Love there, more in the mid-tier. Again, I really like Porzingis, one of my favorite plays of the day. Marcus Morris is a guy you could look to if Randall can't go. He would shoot the ball a lot more. More of just a GPP option, though, in my opinion. Let's see. So, Bielitsa is at 6K. Again, the last game against Minnesota, he had 41 minutes. They used him a lot against center against Karl-Anthony Towns, which honestly didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But if that's the case, if he's going to get a lot of minutes at center, you can look to him. But who knows what Sacramento's going to do with their center minutes, to be honest. Miles Bridges after 2 back-to-back good games, priced way up to 5.8. I'll let others chase that in a bad matchup. The secondary Washington pieces, I really don't have any interest there besides Brad Beal, just because we have Rui back, we have Mo Wagner back. Just 2 more bodies to the rotation. Not really excited about anyone else there besides Beal, who we'll talk about in a bit. Let's see. So we do have Deandre Hunter questionable. He missed the last game with an ankle injury, and we have Cam Reddish already ruled out. Cam Reddish already ruled out. And we have Trae Young questionable. So let's look at Atlanta's minutes last game against Dallas. So Trae Young got injured in the middle of that game. John Collins got 33 minutes. Damian Jones got 31 minutes. I believe we have Bruno Fernando questionable, so that's something to keep an eye on with the status of whether or not Damian Jones is a viable punt option. Trae Young played 26 and got injured. Kevin Huerter played 40 minutes. Cam Reddish got injured, only played 7 minutes. And then Jeff Teague played 30 minutes, again, partly due to the fact that Trae Young got injured. Goodwin got 24 minutes. Vince Carter got 24 minutes. And Travion Graham got 20 minutes. Charlie Brown got 3 minutes. DeAndre Bembry also did not play in that game. So if Hunter can't go, if Trae Young can't go, and we already have Reddish rolled out, Atlanta could be pretty thin. We might have to consider guys like Jeff Teague, a guy like Brandon Goodwin, even Vince Carter. Like, these are guys that would be viable if both Hunter and Trae Young can't go. But yeah, back to power forward. Let's see, where were we? I think that's really, Josh Jackson did get a good amount of run there with Triple J missing. Got 29 minutes. Looked pretty solid, 24 fancy points. I'm just worried if Triple J back. I just don't know how many minutes he's going to get. Like, I would not be surprised if he gets a DNP. I would not be surprised if he gets like 20 or so minutes. So he's more just a dart throw for GPPs. I really don't have a good idea of how many minutes he's going to play. But that basically wraps up for power forward. So let's move on to small forward. Kawhi at the top at 10.3. It's a good spot against San Antonio. It's a revenge game, so if you're a guy that's big into revenge game narratives, I could see you taking a shot on Kawhi. The issue is we have Paul George healthy. Again, Lou Williams, Montrez, they're healthy. So it's a fully healthy Clippers team, and you're paying a premium for Kawhi. So can Kawhi still get you there at 10.3? He definitely can. The downsides, again, it's just everyone's healthy now, and the Clippers are a pretty balanced team when everyone is healthy. Beal at 10.1. So this is the one guy I would consider even at 10.1K. He is just playing huge minutes, 38, 38, 35, 36 minutes. He's shooting the ball a ton. 22, 31, 16, and 23 shots. He's getting some peripheral stats with assists and rebounds. This is a really good spot against Golden State, right? They're not very good defensively. So even at this elevated price point, I still think Brad Beal is in play. Probably the only guy I would consider on the Washington side. Again, Ben Simmons' Philadelphia-Miami game is not very appealing for me for DFS purposes. DeRozan with Aldridge back at an elevated price point, I'll pass. Paul George did only play, he's played 19 and 25 minutes. If we get word that he's no longer on a minutes limit, then I would have interest in Paul George. But if they're still going to limit him to 25 or so minutes, probably can't go there. So that is something to keep an eye on. Again, Brown, Tatum, Hayward, especially if Marcus Smart can't go, those guys are going to have to do it all in a really, really good spot there against Atlanta. Let's see. Other options like a Draymond Green at 6.5K. Right now we have D'Angelo Russell questionable. If he can't go, Draymond Green maybe runs the point a little bit more. He had 16 assists last game. Alec Burks' upside would go up. So definitely something to keep an eye on here with D'Angelo Russell status. If he can't go, Draymond Green probably runs the point a little bit more. And he's been really solid recently. And it's a really, really good spot against Washington. Let's see. Other options. Not super excited about THJ there at that price. Bogdan, the minutes for the Sacramento guys, no one's really seeing huge minutes right now besides Fox, so it's kind of hard to target any of those guys right now. Let's see. Karis LeVert with no Kyrie Irving at 4.7, I think is in play. He really hasn't been good recently, but he's going to have to step it up. Probably gets more minutes. My best guess is probably about 25 or so, maybe a little bit more. So I think he is in play. I'm just not super, super excited about it. Okay, so Detroit, we have Derrick Rose left the game today with an ankle injury, so I don't expect him to go for Monday. Bruce Brown right now, 3.8K, I think really stands out. I know he had a really good game the last game, 38 minutes, 46 fantasy points. I don't want to make it feel like I'm chasing here, but he's going to run the point guard a lot. Whenever Reggie Jackson's not out there, Bruce Brown is probably going to run the point guard unless they dust off Tim Frazier and use him in the rotation. But yeah, he played really well. I assume if Derrick Rose can't go, we're going to get a lot of minutes from Bruce Brown at 3.8K in a really good spot. I think he really stands out as a solid value play there. You could also look to Svi Mikhailuk, who's been playing big minutes. Not as much upside as my opinion, but yeah, I'm perfectly fine getting to him as well. A guy like Vince Carter, honestly, if Hunter is not available to go and Trae Young can't go, I actually think Vince Carter's in play here. I think we probably get about 25 or so minutes, maybe a little bit more. And he's going to have to do a good amount, right? Atlanta would be really, really thin. So I actually think Vince Carter would be in play if both those guys can't go. But I think that's basically it for small forwards. So let's move on to shooting guard. Yeah, so right now, again, D'Angelo Russell is questionable. If he is able to go, I would like him a good amount here. Even at this price, I still think he has upside, especially, again, because of the good matchup. If he can't go, Draymond gets a boost. A guy like Alec Burks, especially, I think those two would be my main priorities. If D'Lo can't go, would be Burks and Draymond Green. Devin Booker, I like a good amount here at 8.6, especially if Ricky Rubio can't go. He's been playing huge minutes. He would run the point a good amount. We saw so I can go over the minutes really quick for the Phoenix guys last game. Elliot Kobo started, but I was, they kind of just ran a three-headed monster there. No one really got big minutes. So with no Ricky Rubio, Oubre played 36, Bridges played 31, Ayton played 30, Booker played 34. Okobo did get 26, but we saw 27 minutes from Carter. We saw 10 minutes from Tyler Johnson. So again, if Rubio can't go, Booker's upside goes up, in my opinion. He'll run the point guard a little bit more, and it's a really good spot here. So I do have a good amount of interest there in Booker, especially if Rubio can't go. Dinwiddie is at 8K with no Kyrie. He is going to be their go-to guy. We've seen in the past when Kyrie has been out, Dinwiddie has 50, even 60 fantasy point upside on a really good night. Again, really good spot against Phoenix. He's probably gets about 35 or so minutes in a close game. So I do have a good amount of interest here in Dinwiddie at 8K. Let's see, other options. Again, this Orlando-Charlotte game, basically a fade for me. The Clippers, not super excited about with everyone healthy. We do have Marcus Smart questionable. If him and we already have Kemba ruled out. If Marcus Smart can't go, then a guy like Brad Wanamaker probably becomes very viable as a cheap option. Brunson did start, had a really good game. The last game, 27 minutes, 44 fancy points. I think I'll let others chase. I know he had a really good game, but Dallas just has so many guys that can use. They have DeLon Wright, they have Seth Curry, they have JJ Barea. Yeah, so it's just like $6K. I would just much rather get to Porzingis for an extra $1,000 than Brunson. Let's see. Other options here. A guy like Kevin Huerter we could consider if Trae Young can't go. He'll be asked to run the point guard a lot more. I know it's a bad spot, but he still has upside at this price. Yeah, so Burks. He would probably be the main beneficiary in my opinion. And we've seen big upside games from Burks, right? We've seen about 50-plus fancy points from Alec Burks when D'Angelo Russell can't go. And this is a really, really good spot. So I would have a lot of interest in Burks, especially if D'Lo can't go. Let's see, other options here. Barea, after starting the last game, played 21 minutes, got a DNP last game. Again, it's Rick Carlisle. Who knows with those secondary pieces? Jeff Teague, right? If Trae Young can't go, you can certainly look to Jeff Teague. His value played 3.9K, played 30 minutes last game, didn't shoot the ball great, but still had 24 fancy points. So I would like Jeff Teague a lot if Trae Young can't go. The GPP pivot off of Jeff Teague, if Trae Young can't go, would be Brandon Goodwin. Those two guys kind of split their point guard duties. So, again, if Trae Young can't go, I would assume Jeff Teague would be the chalk. You could look to Goodwin as a GPP pivot. Other options, right? So, Wanamaker, if Marcus Smart can't go, I think he would probably start at the point guard at 3.6K in a really good spot against Atlanta. I would like him a good amount there. But that's basically it. So, yeah, I think I glanced over Marcus Smart himself. Where is he at? Yeah, so he's at 6.6. That is kind of feels like a lot to pay for Marcus Smart, but his upside goes through the roof when Kemba's not out there. He'd be asked to run the point guard a lot. So if Marcus Smart plays, I would have interest in him for sure. Again, if he can't go, we can look to Wanamaker. But let's move on to point guard. Again, Doncic still not, he's going to be out for a few more games here. We have Trae Young questionable. This is huge news. If Trae Young is able to play, I think he is certainly viable for GPPs. If Trae Young can't go, that's when we can consider those value guys like Jeff Teague, like Brandon Goodwin. So we definitely have to keep an eye on that. De'Aaron Fox, I like, but I think he's more of a GPP play at 8.2K. Yeah, so Derrick Rose, I don't expect him to go, so that's why I think Bruce Brown and Reggie Jackson are going to be asked to run the point guard a lot here for Detroit. John Morant is viable, kind of let me down the last game, but it was a blowout, only played 27 minutes. I wouldn't mind going back here at 6.8K. I think we probably get over 30 minutes from him in a close game. It's a good spot, too. Alfred Payton at 6.5 did have was suspended the last game for pushing Jay Crowder. He's been getting big minutes, 35, 30, 33, 35. This is a good spot, so I think he's in play. I don't really think he's an amazing play, but he's certainly someone you can consider. Brogdon at 6.3 is doable here, 36 and 33 minutes in back-to-back games, which is really good to see. And the price came down to 6.3K. He is a guy that gets those peripherals right, rebounds, assists, 9 assists, 8 rebounds, 7 rebounds, 12 assists. If he has a good scoring night, he could crush this salary. So I actually do have a good amount of interest in Brogdon. I think he's a pretty safe play. The only really downside with him is, we have Oladipo back now, and he is pretty injury prone. He's been injured like 2 or 3 times this season, so there is, I guess, a decent chance he could re-aggravate an injury, but 6.3K just seems way too cheap for him. Shabazz at 6.2, I think is in play. 31 and 35 minutes last of wins is good to see. 35 fancy points in those 2 games. He's been getting more peripheral stats right. He had a triple-double that game against OKC. So I actually think Shabazz is viable here in a good spot there against Sacramento. Oladipo, they're still easing him back, 21, 22 minutes. Shot about 2 of 14. I still don't think I can go there yet. And the big news here is Rubio. If he can't go, that would be a huge boost to Devin Booker. We can consider a guy like Elliot Kobo, who started for him. Reggie Jackson, right? So with no Derrick Rose, he played 34 minutes. Now, the game didn't go to overtime, but that's really good to see. I like him a good amount here, 4.7. I assume he probably starts at point guard. If not, they're probably going to start Bruce Brown. Either way, I have a good amount of interest in Reggie. I have a good amount of interest in Bruce Brown, who I think both their upsides are going to go up a lot with no Derrick Rose. Let's see. Smith Jr. with Alfred Payton back. Can't do that. Yeah, right. A guy like Brandon Goodwin. So that one night, I forget when it was, a few weeks ago when Jeff Teague was chalk and Trae Young missed, it was Brandon Goodwin that closed the game. So he had 24 minutes at 27 fantasy points. If Trae Young can't go, again, I think Jeff Teague is going to be the chalk, but you could look to Brandon Goodwin as a pivot off of Jeff Teague there. And I think that is basically it. Let's go talk about Akobo really quick. Right, he started 26 minutes, had 10 fantasy points. Not a super high usage guy, but if Rubio can't go again and he starts, he's a viable punt option, right, for a starting point guard at min price. But yeah, I think that's going to do it. So 10-game slate looks like a pretty decent slate. We do have a lot of injury news we're waiting on, so that's why it is important to follow me on Twitter, guys. That is in the description below. As well as check out my live stream. I'll be live streaming 45 minutes before lock on my YouTube channel, going over all the injury news that we had, going over kind of my core plays for cash games. I'll answer any questions you guys have. So very important to check out the live stream tomorrow. Again, my core for tonight's for Sunday's slate was James Harden, Daniel House, Brooke Lopez, and Serge Ibaka. Crushed it again, won a GPP. So hopefully you guys won some good money. Hopefully we can keep this going for this 10-game slate on Monday. But yeah, thanks again for everyone to come and check out the video. I really do appreciate it. I will see you guys all tomorrow in the live stream.